Hey there, podcast listeners. Are you ready to take your game day to the next level? I'm excited to announce that I've partnered with SeatGeek as their newest brand ambassador. That's right, I'm officially royally quacking about this awesome collaboration. SeatGeek is your go-to platform for finding the best deals on your tickets to all your favorite events. From concerts to sports, they've got you covered. And as a special thank you to my listeners, use code RoyallyQuacked. That's right, you can use it in all caps, RoyallyQuacked, for $20 off your first SeatGeek order. So what are you waiting for? Grab your friends, score some awesome tickets, and go make some unforgettable memories together. Thank you for SeatGeek for making it happen.
Aren't you guys excited? It's hockey season! Welcome back to Royally Quacked, where I'm Royally and he's quacked. How's it going, Cody?
I'm doing good. I'm just happy it's finally hockey season.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Okay, I got the trivia question.
All right. Since I know it was my week, but I forgot. But thank you for saving the day. I guess I'll let you out of the dungeon finally.
I'm out of the dungeon, baby. I'm at home.
It's a shame because I finally had someone that was willing to take your spot.
Yeah, Adam.
Yep, Adam.
I'm sure he would. Then you would have to call it what? Quacked?
No, I have a name if it was an All Ducks podcast. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want anyone stealing it.
Oh, okay. Well, you're gonna have to tell me that privately then, because I want to know.
I've told you already, but it was a long time ago. But I'll tell you later. I'll tell you off camera.
So, trivia question, since you forgot and I have written down a few.
Okay.
I'm gonna do this one, and I have a couple of good ones after this too.
Okay.
What Duck finished his career playing 989 games and scoring 989 points?
This players were.
I'll give you one clue. It wasn't all with the Ducks.
How many seasons has he played with the Ducks?
That I don't have in front of me. I would say, I think it was like 600 of the games, or right around somewhere in the low 600s.
Okay.
But he scored 989 points in 989 games, so he scored a point a game for his whole career. No, playing in the NHL.
Sounds like a good career to me.
That makes it easier.
Trying to think. How long has this player been retired for?
A while.
Did he start his career with the Ducks?
He did.
Okay, Paul Kariya.
Paul Kariya is the correct answer.
That's who I was leaning towards, but I was like, I just needed that little hint, and I was like, okay, yeah, it's for sure Paul Kariya. The big hint was when you told me it was majority with the Ducks, and I was like, okay, because I know he played with Colorado.
I wanted to do that because if you were thinking just about he scored 989 points with the Ducks, it would be misleading.
No,
and I didn't want to be unfair.
Yeah, I got you.
So that was the trivia question for today. So now we're going to move on to what? Duck news?
Yep, we'll go to Duck news. All right. According to Joe Yerdon of Bleacher Report, the Anaheim Ducks defenseman Cam Fowler has been linked to 3 additional teams: the St. Louis Blues, the Ottawa Senators, and the Nashville Predators, as trade rumors surrounding the veteran puck mover intensifies. So those are, I guess, the 3 teams that are rumored to be in on Cam Fowler. Not 100%, but that's what I've heard. The Ducks have finally named a captain. We got Captain the butcher himself, Radko Gudis, is our new captain. Our ninth, I believe the ninth captain in the Ducks history. The first one since Ryan Getzlaf as captain.
Yeah,
So
I think that was a good pick.
I think it was a good pick. He has 2 years left on his contract. I mean, they can always re-sign him for a year or two after. I think he's 34 right now. So I mean, they can always sign him for like a league minimum maybe later down the road if they want to keep him as a captain for another year. But I think this is the right choice in my opinion. Because if obviously we know Cam Fowler's not getting it because he's in the trade rumors. Gibson is usually goalies aren't usually captains. Not everyone's Roberto Luongo. And then the only other person I could think of was Troy Terry, and I think if he was in the running, he would have gotten it or by now. So I think it's going to be either like after this, it's going to either be a McTavish or a Leo Carlson. But my main guess is McTavish later on.
Oh, we'll see. I think they made the right choice. Veteran presence, someone who's been through the wars.
Yeah.
I think they made the right choice.
Yeah. And then also, I forgot to put this in the notes, but on Crash the Pond, they did talk about this with the whole Beckett Seneca injury. I guess the Ducks were right on the timeline and everything like that. I think it was just there was just a mix up between I guess the rumors or about his injury, but he is I believe he's still like another 2 to 4 weeks away from being back on the ice, or they said 2 to 3 to 4 weeks. So I think it was just they were like maybe like a week late on reporting it, maybe. But like I said, if you guys Ducks fans, if you guys want more information, go follow Crash the Pond. They're one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. So, and they break it down a lot better than I do. So, just go check them out, and they'll tell you because they're also friends with a lot of the Ducks insider reporters too. So, yeah, go check them out if you want more information on the Beckett Seneca injury. And that's all I have for Ducks news right now.
Okay, and we're going to go to Kings news. I've been talking about it kind of all summer. We needed to re-sign Arthur Kaliev. Well, they did. They signed him to a 1-year extension worth $825,000. It says AAV. It was 1 year, so yeah, the value is $825,000. And then team news. Iron Bow has become the official away jersey patch partner of the LA Kings. They will also be the preferred IT solutions provider for AEG, which is who owns the Kings, and providing hardware, software solutions, and services to the company and its global portfolio of assets. So another revenue stream, hopefully helping us to stay solvent. Then just a little bit of news. I'm not going to go over the whole preseason schedule because you guys can get that just about anywhere. But just a reminder, Monday, preseason opener against the Utah Yetis. I mean, hockey club. And we owe them. They beat us. Well, never mind. I'll talk about that. What happened later? That was going to be a spoiler.
Oh man,
coming in there. So, but that's all of the King news, and I do actually have, when we get to training camp, a little bit more news about Arthur Kaliev. But you have to wait till we get to training camp.
Yeah. So the Ducks preseason games. I'll go over both teams real quick. The Ducks have a game on Tuesday against the Sharks in San Jose. On Thursday, they're back home against San Jose, and then Saturday we got the freeway face-off in LA. Or is that? I don't know if that's the one. I think that's the one in Ontario.
It is. It's a 3:00 game.
Yeah.
I actually thought, hey, maybe father and son, we'd go to a game, but it's like
Ooh.
cheapest seats are $122 a seat.
Oh no. Never mind. And
I
then
don't know. It still might be fun.
still might be unless someone wants to help us get us free tickets. I'm just kidding.
Well, that would be really nice.
Yeah. So the Kings play Monday against the Utah Yetis. Wink, wink. And then on Wednesday they play in Vegas against the Vegas Golden Knights, and then Saturday against the Ducks.
And then they play the following Monday against the Ducks at the pond.
At the Ponda.
At the Ponda, yeah. I'd like to go to that, but unfortunately, work precedes fun.
Yeah, and I'll be starting my new job that day.
Yeah. Congratulations on the new position, son.
Thank you.
I hope it's everything you dream of.
I'm just happy it's closer to home.
Yeah. I still travel, but with going out to grandma's and papa's all the time and helping them out and staying there, which I think gives your mom peace of mind.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I know what you drive is definitely a lot more than what I do, but I'd just be happy I'm not driving 80 miles round trip to go to and from work. It'd be a 4 miles round trip. So yay!
There you go.
And I won't be working nights anymore.
Well, I still work in the nighttime, but you were working much later than I was.
Yeah, much later at night.
So let's get on to rookie face-off, and we're going to start with the first two games for the Kings on the rookie face-off. We gave you all the players in the previous podcast, and on Friday the 13th, of course, it wasn't really lucky for us. Friday the 13th, we played the Golden Knights, and the Golden Knights won the game 2-0. Brant Clark, who's probably gonna be a starting defender for the Kings this year. I mean, he's gonna have to earn a position in training camp, but he was there. Eric Portillo was there. Francisco Pinelli, who is designed to probably be in the AHL at least one more year, was there. And then our first round draft pick, Liam Greentree, played, all in this first game. The only goals scored in this game, people, were on the power play. So obviously we only had 2 goals and none for us. I mean, the Vegas goalkeepers made some great saves. It wasn't like the rookies weren't in the game. They were in the game. But they scored on the power play. One was 5-on-3. The other was obviously just a regular power play. But we had way too many penalties in this first game. Cohen Zemer led the Kings. He had 5 shots on goal. They did play physical. There was 2 fights in this game. Both Portillo started and Carter George came in. Portillo played in the first 2 periods, only gave up 1 goal. Carter George played the last period, gave up 1 goal. They were actually very good in the net. I think if we had a plus, we talk about the physicality, which the Kings parent club is looking to be better at. And then their goaltending has it looked really good in the first game. So final score 2-0. I mean, guys, this isn't where they have to win. They're looking to see what these kids can do and giving some of a chance to maybe play up more than they anticipate. I mean, because there's different levels. You got juniors. Some of the college kids can't do this. They've already gone back to college. They won't even be part of training camp. And we got quite a few good players there. But they're going to go back to juniors. They're going to play for the Reign. And the only place that the juniors could move up to, they can't play in the AHL because of the CBA. So, anyways, let's move on to game 2, which was Saturday night. They played the Utah Hockey Club. In this game, we had no Clark, no Pertillo, no George, no Pinelli. Okay, Green Tree played. Others of the younger guys played. They played two of the both goalies were invitees to come play. So, I mean, it was a 3-1 game, and in 2 minutes, the Kings came back and they scored 2 goals in 2 minutes to tie up the game. The late goals led the Kings to the overtime, including a goal from first-round pick Liam Greentree, who played much better. He actually looked like he got better each game, which is what you want to see from a young guy. And then Atu Yamson scored a goal also. Pretty quick in overtime, Utah scored and won the game. So basically now they're 1-1 after 2 games. Again, even the goalies that were invitees didn't do a bad job. So, Cody, you want to go to your 2 games?
Yep. So the Ducks' first game was also on Friday, September 13th. The Ducks played against the Colorado Avalanche. And in this game, we had a 4-3 final with the Ducks winning 4-3. It was a close game. I did watch this one. I watched, I think, the last half of it, I believe. Let's see. So to start off the scoring, Alexander Blais scored the opening goal with assist from Colson Petrie. And then that was in the first period. The second period, Tyson Hines scored the second goal to take a 2-0 lead with assists from Kerry Terrence and Sasha Pastjov. And then Colorado scores in the 13th minute from Jason Pauline, assist from Callum Ritchie and Sean Burens. And then our top prospect for the Ducks, Cutter Gauthier, scored the third goal. And with assists from Sam Colangelo and Wojtek Port. And then Colorado scored to make it 3-2. Goal from Max Coran and Benjamin Burnell. And then Yegor Sidorov scored to make it 4-2 with assist from Cutter Gauthier. And then Colorado scored to make it 4-3 from Oscar Olofsson and Callum Ritchie. So Ducks took 4 penalties this game. We had Sam Colangelo having a holding penalty. Cutter had an interference. Let's see. And then Sidorov had a hooking, and then Kerry Terrence had a slashing penalty. Let's see. Did any of them say their power play goals? No, it doesn't. Like I said, I would say the main. And by the way, Callie Kling scored or not scored. He played the full 60 minutes. He led in all 3 goals, but he had 42 shots against and 39 saves. So he still had a lot of shots. Remember, these kids aren't really used to playing against each other. A lot of them probably don't have chemistry, so you're probably going to see a lot. You're not going to see the best out of everyone just because, in hockey, a lot of lines you got to depend on chemistry and everything. But Callie Kling looked great. Made a lot of great saves. He kept them in the game. I would say the 2 people that looked the best to me, just from my point of view, I would say actually 3. Alexander Blais. I heard his name a lot, and he was making some great plays out there. And then the other one would be Noah Warren and Tristan Luneau. And by the way, Tristan Luneau wore the captain for the first game. And I believe it was Cutter and I think Tyson Hines had the alternate captains. So that was the first game. So 4-3 Ducks. Second game on Sunday, September 15th was not as great for the Ducks as we hoped. And all I know is I believe the Ducks took nothing but penalties. In this game, the Ducks lost to the San Jose Sharks 7-2. Let's see. I'm just going to go over just the Ducks scores just to keep time rolling. Cutter Gauthier scored his second goal of the tournament with assists from Sam Colangelo and Kerry Terrence. And Yegor Sidorov scored in the third period with assists from Noah Warren and Nico Majatovic. The Ducks took, 5 penalties this game. And I believe they scored 3 power play goals, I believe. That's just way too many. The Sharks outshot the Ducks 32-24. Let's see. Goalies. I remember. I can't remember how they said their name. I heard it on 2 different podcasts on how to pronounce this. The Russian, is it Budiets? Budiets. He played all 60 minutes.
I like Budiets.
Budiets.
Just
Or
remember
it's Butayets.
Butayets?
That's how you say it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I like the booty part first better.
Well, so there's a rumor going on that I guess they gave him the nickname Booty.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
So it's Butayets. He played all 60 minutes. He had 32 shots on goal and had 25 saves. I wasn't able to really watch this game, but I heard, from what I've heard, he looked great, apparently. So you also remember this was Butayets. Butayets. I'm gonna have to try to remember to say it right. This was his first time playing on American ice. So for you guys that don't know, that in Europe and in that area, they play on wider ice, and I think, is it longer too?
I do believe it is.
So it's a lot.
It's a bigger rink, is what
it's a lot more ice surface and everything. So this was Butayets' first time playing on a smaller ice surface and a smaller and everything. And I know for a lot of and I can attest to this, is when you move from as a goalkeeper, and even in soccer, you got to kind of get used to the field lengths, or you got to get used to the 18-yard box and everything like that. So his positioning could have been off, but I heard he was doing really well. I just heard the defense and the penalty killing just really hurt him. So I heard a lot of praise on Butayets. So that was it for the third game, and then you ready to go over
that was the second game.
Oh, the second game, yes. You ready to go on to the third one?
I am.
You want me to start?
Yeah, you go ahead. You were going. You got it going.
So in this game, the Ducks and Kings played against each other on Monday, September 16th. The Ducks lost in overtime to the Kings in 2-1 in overtime. I'll go over my scoring real quick. Colson Petrie had the lone goal with assist from Alexander Blais and Tristan Luneau. And the Ducks had 5 penalties in this. Wow, both teams took a lot of penalties in this game. The Ducks had 29 shots on goal. Like I said, I wasn't able to watch these 2 games, so I can't tell you who really stood out in my opinion. But Butayets played in this game as well. He had 11 shots on goal and 10 saves. And Michael McIver, I believe he started the game. He played for 35 minutes and 56 seconds, and Butayets played for 28-31. McIver had 20 shots against and 19 saves. So each goalie let in 1 goal. And all I can tell you is Michael McIver, I saw his goalie pads. Those were sweet. Those were sweet.
I was at work. I was listening to. I had it on my phone, the video of this game, but I was listening to it, not watching it, because I was working.
Yeah.
So Is that
Yeah.
it for you?
Well, we only had the one goal.
Yeah. Did you say the final score?
Yeah, 2-1 Kings in overtime.
Yes, correct. To start off with the game for the Kings, players not expected to play. Brant Clark played. Eric Portillo played. Carter George played. Francisco Pinelli played. They weren't expected to play. Maybe by the Kings, but not by basically all the other media. They thought they would play one game. We don't know why, if they changed their, maybe because they just didn't want to lose to the guys across the street. I don't know. It was a great game. It really was a very good game. And I didn't tell you, in the first game, Francisco Pinelli wore the C. Brant Clark had the A. I did not get to hear or see who were the captains in the second. The second game, I only heard the end of the game. And I didn't get who the captains were. But I'm sure it was captains in this game were Pinelli as the C, and I know Clark had an A. Pinelli scored the first goal of the game to lead off. And George started the game. He played a period and a half. I think they played almost as close to a period and a half each as they could. I mean, exact minutes, and maybe you have that, Cody, because I know he was able to get a box score for all the Duck games. I could not find anywhere to get a box score.
All right, so real quick for Eric Patillo, he played 32 minutes and 44 seconds. He had 14 shots against and 13 saves.
Right.
Carter George had 31 minutes and 43 seconds, so they only had like a minute off.
Yeah, I
from
said
each other.
it was close to.
It was close.
Yeah,
and then obviously Carter George had 15 saves on 15 shots.
Correct. Actually, that very correct. The other good news is Liam Greentree, the first round pick from 2024, gets an assist on the game-winning goal in overtime.
Boo.
And I can't remember his first name, but Olsen, he was an invitee. Quinn Olsen, invitee, scored the game winner. So I do have a recap for the Kings. I don't know if you did that, Cody, but I do have a recap of some of the things I thought stood out.
I wasn't able to really watch or hear it much, so I can't really give my opinion on it.
I listened to every game at least a little bit. So when Clark was in, he was basically the best player on the ice, even though he didn't score. He was in control. He controlled the play of the game. He was the tempo, if you want to call it, or he led the team. The first game he kind of played defense and a little bit of offense in it, but in this last game, one of the things about him, he has that it factor. He knows when to get the puck towards the net, and he was doing that. It just didn't come with any scoring. But one thing they like about him is it's like he knows what to do and when to do it offensively. So he was excellent. Probably the best player for the Kings in the rookie faceoff was Carter George. I mean, one reason they moved up to pick him up in the second round, which most people thought was too high, is because he has that it factor that he seems to know where the puck is all the time. He knows how to get in proper position, even though he's considered a small goalie. Most of them, they want to be at least 6'2" or taller. He's only 6'1", so an inch. To me, I'm going, an inch makes that big a difference, but it does. I mean, Portillo's like 6'5", 6'6". And then one thing they like about Kemper, he's like 6'5", I think. So they like big goal because their bodies are just bigger and can block more shots. Green Tree really needs to work on his skating. But the interesting thing, he has all the other skills to be a great player. But one thing he needs to work on is to become a more smooth skater. And I think if he does that, he's going to become a really, really great player. But I can remember a 9th-round pick way back when I was younger, and he just so happened to be probably one of the greatest Kings ever, and that was Luc Robitaille. And they said he couldn't skate. And look at the career he had. So if Green Tree can just play off that a little bit, maybe he won't be as great as him, but he will. He will probably end up being a good NHL player. Otto Janssen. I don't even think I think he had 3 points in that Utah game. He looked really good. They had just signed him a few months ago. I think I mentioned it on the podcast. He's going to be in Ontario, and within a year or two after that, you might see him playing in the NHL. Another one that looked really good was Angus Booth, and he was a draft pick from the Kings. He looked really good defensively. He'll probably be on Ontario Reign. I'm pretty sure he's designed to be on their defensive pair. We have one thing we were struggling with was left-handed defenders. So they did draft Jacob Dvorak in the 2nd round, and he's a big guy, 6'6", 6'7". He's only 19. He looked like he was lost in the rookie faceoff at times. He was one of the penalty guys. All the big guys, all they seem to want to, and the Kings want to get more physical, and so the rookies are trying to impress. Well, sometimes they were just taking penalties throughout this contest. I think the Kings, if they would have not done that, they might have been 2-1 or 2-0-1. But because they couldn't control the penalties, that's why they ended up where they're at. So, and that's my who stood out, my impression on the rookie faceoff. Now we're going to go to training camp, right, Cody?
Yep, training camp.
Since I did all that talking, do you want to start on the training camp?
Yeah, I can definitely do that. Are we just doing rosters, or are we going to talk about?
Well, if you want to, I don't know. Is yours the same as mine?
What do you mean?
Well, the camp, just so you guys understand, we really hadn't discussed this before we got on the podcast. The Kings split themselves up into three groups: Group A, Group B, Group C. So they don't all have to report at the same time because you have way too many guys on the ice. So everybody has their times, and then they're going to play around with them a little bit, here and there. So,
all right. Well, I'll go over mine real quick. So this is on the Ducks website. The Ducks 2024 camp roster features 66 players, including 39 forwards, 20 defensemen, and 7 goalies. The roster also features 8 Anaheim first-round selections, 31 Anaheim draft selections, including 7 Anaheim first-round selections from the past 6 drafts. So, do you want to go over roster and then the lineups, or do you just want to just talk about the lineups?
Well, I am going to go through my groups instead of just going through just the forwards and then the defenders and then the goalkeepers, because they're all in their groups.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll do the same thing. So this was for Team 1 for the Anaheim Ducks. This first line is the one I'm probably one of the 2 lines I'm most excited for. For line 1, you had Cutter Gauthier, Leo Carlson, and Alex Killorn. On the second line, you had Pavel Regenda, Ryan Carpenter, and Ben Meyer. Was it Ben Meyer? I can't remember because they signed one last year and then they also picked one up this year.
You're talking
with the last name.
You're talking to the wrong fan.
Yeah. Yeah. if I said it wrong, I'm so sorry, guys. But so you had Regenda, Carpenter, and Meyer on the second line. On the third line, we have Kachuk, Harkins, and Caulfield. For the fourth line, we have Gazazov, Alexander Blay, and Maxim Massey. Those are the forward lines for Team 1. The defensive pair, the first two I'm actually pretty excited for. Oh, a little bit. So the first one, Cam Fowler and Tristan Luneau. Talking about two players that can just skate alone. Line 2 is Tyson Hines and Noah Warren. On line 3, you have Rodwin Dionicio and was it Pizik? I don't know how to properly pronounce that, but I'm just guessing it's Pizik. And then for the goalie pair, we have Gibson and Batailles. On Team 2, this is probably one of the other lines I'm most looking forward to. Zegras, McTavish, and Terry, with McTavish as the center. On the second line...
That's not what you expected, is it?
No, that's what I actually wanted. Or, I mean, if they had Zegras in the middle and McTavish on the wing, I could have seen that too.
I thought you had McTavish on the third line when we were talking about it.
No, I don't. I mean, it depends.
You had Terry and Zegras.
It was definitely Terry and Zegras in the top 6. I think McTavish with them is going to help him out.
Oh, he's a brute.
Yeah. Second line, we have Johnston, Lundestrom, and McGinn. On the third line, we have Majedovic, Terrence, and Howe. Fourth line, Pasachov, Mizik, and Weeb. Those are the forward lines for Team 2. For the defensive pairs, we have Lacombe and Gudis. Second pair, Vakanainen and Hellison. In the third pair, we have Smith and Lindstrom. And the goalie pair is Dostal and Dansk. And for the last team, you have Fabry, Strome, and Vetrano. For the second line, we have Nestorenko, Leeson, Colangelo. Third line, Sidorov, Lapina, and Petrie. And on the last line, we have Dizaru, Precision, and Loveson and Vaughan, I believe. Vaughan or Vaughan. And then the defensive pair is Dumoulin and Zellweger, Hetherington and McCoon, and then Smith with Port and Yuzero, and the goalies is Kelly Kling and Michael McIver. Those are the teams right there for training camp.
So on to the Kings now?
On to the Kings.
So it's a little different on Team 1. We're Group A. Okay, Group A, the forwards are Alex Laferriere, Anze Kopitar, and Adrian Kempe. And people think that might be our first line. The next on Group A is Kevin Fiala, Quentin Byfield, and Warren Fogle. They probably think that might be... It's either going to be the second or third line. I'm thinking it's going to be the second line. On Group A, the next is Jeff Malott, Alex Turcotte, and Samuel Fagimo. And then the third, and Malott is probably going to play in Ontario, but if anybody's going to make the forwards from Ontario make the Kings, I think Malott might be at least pre-camp the number one guy who might be moved up. They do expect Turcotte and Fagimo to be on the NHL roster. And then the fourth line on this is Atu Yamson, Francisco Pinelli, and Jacob Doty, which could be probably the number 2 or 3 line at Ontario. But you never know. If somebody proves themselves, they could move up. Then the defensive pairs. And the funny thing is a lot of this I think I've mentioned. I think I talked about Laferriere, Kopitar, and Kempe, and then the Byfield line as being possibly the top two lines. The defensive pair, we have Vladislav Gavrikov and Jordan Spence, which everyone's expecting them to be a pair on the NHL team. Next up is Andreas England and Kyle Burrows. And there is a big possibility from some people believe that the Kings might go 8 defensemen, and those two will probably be 7 and 8. At least what it might be expected. The third pair on defense on Group A is Jacob Dvorak and Cole Krieger. 2 prospects. Probably neither one of them is going to make the NHL roster. They may still be going back to juniors, or possibly Dvorak could go back to Czechia. The last pair is Jared Woolley and Angus Booth. Jared Woolley will be probably going back to juniors. Angus Booth will be with Ontario. The goalies are Darcy Kemper and Eric Portillo. So that's Group A. Now let's go to Group B. Their number one line, Tanner Jeannot, Philip Deneau, and Trevor Moore. So Jeannot, Deneau, and Moore. It sounds like a law firm. I didn't think, that just hit me.
I didn't even think about that.
And Trevor Moore. And that's, I didn't know where they might put, but I think this is where they're where they want them to finish, but it may not happen. The next pair, Arthur Kaliev, Akil Thomas, and Trevor Lewis. All 3 are expected to be on the NHL. So the top 6 on that are expected to be NHL. The third group is Charles Hudon, Jack Stunica, and Tyler Madden, which could be the number 1 line at Ontario. And last but not least, we have Andre Lee, Samuel Helenius, and Taylor Ward. And we're recording this. We're actually, they just finished the 3rd day of training camp. And Hiller talked about Helenius, I do believe on LA King Insider, if you want to listen to that. LA King Insider. It's one of the podcasts that is totally based from the LA Kings organization. So he's going to be a future 4th line center probably for the Kings. Helenius is a big guy, tough guy. Played him and Andre Lee were one of the 2 big reasons that Ontario made it all the way to play Coachella Valley for the Pacific Division Championship and to move on to the AHL to play the East side in the AHL Championship. And of course, their number 1 pair of defense is going to be the Kings' number 1 defensive pair, Mikey Anderson and Drew Doughty. And then Joel Edmondson and Brant Clark right now are probably going to be the 3rd pair starting off. And then next is Jacob Morviari and Joe Hicketts. And then last but not least, Caleb Jones and Riley Walsh, with David Riddick and Phoenix Copley as the goalies. Now, one other thing I want to tell you, what the Kings think. They think you got Kopitar, you got Kempe, you got Byfield, you got Fiala, you got Deneau, you got Moore. The other person on those lines could end up changing eventually. I mean, not that they will, but they could. But they're pretty sure they want to keep those pairs together. The other thing that might change defensively is I don't think they want to push Clark, since he's only got like 25 games in NHL experience, where Spence has more. So they want to start him slower in the 3rd pair. But they're thinking by mid-season or late season, he's going to be 2nd pair with Gavrikov. But then again, that may not change either. Now, Group C is an intermix of probably junior players and Ontario Reign players. So their first line, Liam Greentree, Glenn Godden. You know that name, don't you, Cody?
Which one?
Glenn Godden.
Yeah, he played for the Goals last year.
Yeah, he got picked up to be him and Stunica are guys they want to take these young guys and help them become, better hockey players. And then Martin Kromiak. Then the second line for forwards is Sean Element, Caleb Lawrence, and Cohen Zemer. Caleb and Lawrence and Cohen Zemer are both prospects that are 2 or 3 years away, but the Kings have high hopes for. The next line is Cole Davis, Jack Wise, and John Parker Jones. John Parker Jones lost the Vegas game for him with his penalties. But I think he was trying to be a tough guy, and they're trying to make a name for themselves. So I can't say I totally blame them, because otherwise they could just be let go, or they go play in the ECAHL. And then the game winner against the Dunks, Quinn Olson, Oliver Tulk, and Ethan Newtons was. And then they have a few extra forwards on Group C: Bryce Brodnitsky, Luke Woodworth, and Patrick Monahan, and then Arvid Kadaroff. Some of those guys actually played well. And then the defensive pairs are all future guys: Luke Rowe, Matthew Mania, Corbin Vaughn, Jack Miller, Drew Krebs, Parker Burge, with the goalies being Carter George and Dryden McKay. Now, Dryden McKay could be in Ontario along with Copley and Portillo, or he might go down and be the Swamp Rabbits #1. But they picked him up because he has some NHL experience in case, Kemper or Riddick go down and Copley isn't ready. But my understanding is Copley was supposed to be ready for day 1. And that's the groups for training camp.
I love the Swamp Rabbits name.
I do too. It's like the Trash Pandas for the Angels. I just love that.
Yeah. One of the best logos in sports, I believe.
Yeah, I know. I got to get a shirt or a hat or something.
Yeah.
I don't wear hats much anymore.
I'm glad Mom got me the Trash Pandas hat. I was happy about that.
I was jealous.
Yeah. I've had a lot of compliments when I do wear that hat, though. All right. Who's your dark horse to make the team this year for the Kings?
My dark horse to make Kings.
If you want to give one forward or 2 forwards or 1 defenseman, you could add a couple if you want.
Well, I think I kind of said I think Malott has an opportunity. He's been in the AHL and been a very good player there.
Mm-hmm.
Stunica is another guy who could do it.
Yeah.
Defensively, I don't know if they have anybody that ready. I mean, maybe Angus Booth. But, you got Andres England, who played, I think, all 82 games for the Kings last year, and he did a good job.
Yeah.
And he's not even going to start. And then you also have Kyle Burrows. And the thing about both of them, England was the guy, if you took out Kopi or you took out Kempe, he pounded you. Well, they got a bunch of guys that can pound you now. You have Edmondson. You have what are you laughing about?
It's what you said.
Pound them. Well, hit them, beat them up.
Yeah, I know. You just got to choose your words a little bit more carefully.
Not everybody has their mind in the gutter, kid.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're quacked today, man. You're in the quack.
I'm quacked every day.
You're in the quack bin.
Yeah, that's fine.
Not only
better
that,
than being in the royal dungeon.
There you go. Fogel, I mean, he's not quite as big as the other guy, but he plays very physical. And then Jeannot. I mean, the Kings weren't tough enough. That's what they felt like. They weren't tough enough. And that's what Rob Blake wanted. Rob Blake went and got. And it's either going to save his job or he's going to lose his job by it. Hopefully the guys pull through. I have hope. You have so much room for improvement with this team, more than you could have had last year, because Byfield took a leap. I think he's going to take another giant leap. Fiala was better. Kempe is such a two-way awesome player now. I mean, he's incredible. Spence can only get better. Clark, if Clark doesn't do it, they'll have Burrows in there. And so they'll have that bottom pair. If something happens to Clark, they'll probably have Burrows come up and play right D on the third line, and they're gonna be bruisers. So, and the other one, and he shouldn't be like a dark horse, but Arthur Kaliev. Unfortunately, Arthur Kaliev got hurt on day 2. He didn't go into practice today. There was nothing said about it today. I actually heard a quick news conference on LA Kings Insider. This is where I got all these groups too. So you can go on LA Kings Insider to get a lot of this information. But they actually have Hiller talking about the players, and that's what today he talked about Hellenius, about how he's gonna probably be a King in the near future, and he could be a guy who could be a fourth liner. He could possibly be another one. What about you? Who do you think are dark horses for you? Because your team isn't as set. A lot of young guys.
So this is what I'm thinking, what the starting lineup can be for opening night for the Ducks.
If you want, I'll do that after you then.
Okay.
I'll tell you exactly.
All right, how about this? I'll give you my dark horse, and then I'll give you what my possible team is. I think Regenda could be one. Pavel Regenda, if he has a good preseason and training camp and preseason, I can see him being on the third or fourth line for the Ducks. I'm just looking at team 1 right now. The rest of them I can't really. Forwards I can't see. There's 2 defensemen who I could probably see on team 1 alone that could make the Ducks. And if Fowler does get traded, then I could easily see both of them making this team. Or one for sure. One is like, it's going to be this guy or another guy I'll talk about in a sec. Tristan Luneau and Noah Warren. Both of them looked, from what I heard, looked really great in the rookie Faceoff tournament. Both of them are like 2 different kinds of players. Luneau is more of an offensive 2-way defenseman, and Noah Warren's more of a defensive defenseman and big guy. I don't want to say he's like 6'5". I want to say big kid. I believe he was like one of the last players cut last year. Noah Warren was, and he just missed making the Ducks last year, and then I know he had injury problems too. Luneau did play 7 games for the Ducks last season, and I believe I don't know if he looked. I think he had like 3 points in the 7 games, I believe, which is still pretty good for a rookie defenseman. Those are the 2 I would say for sure that I could see making the Ducks opening day. Let's see. Let me look at the forwards. Forwards, I don't really see anyone really surprising me in team 2. For forwards, defensemen, it's Drew Hellison, the player that we got back from Josh Manson in the Colorado deal. I think he could be on his way up. He is a right-handed shot defenseman. I can see them bringing him up as a third, as a seventh defenseman or a third line defenseman. You know, like I said, especially if Fowler gets traded, I think Luneau's probably going to make the team, in my honest opinion. And then the next person up is either going to be Hellison or Warren. If I had to pick, I'm guessing Hellison, just because Warren probably needs a little bit more playing time, and maybe playing in San Diego might be better for him, where Drew Hellison has been playing in San Diego the last 2 years. So I could see Drew Hellison finally making the leap to the Ducks this year. And team 3, I could see two forwards. Both of them have already played for the Ducks technically, but on short term, is Nikita Nestorenko and Sam Colangelo. Those are the two I could. Actually, those are probably the two I see out of Team 3 altogether. The only other person I could probably see is Callie Klang if something happens to either Gibson or Dostal. I could see Callie Klang making like a surprise backup cameo, or just a random start just to help if there's a back-to-back game situation. So those are, I would say, I would say 4 or 5 players. I think I said 5 or 6 players. I believe I said that could possibly make the opening night roster. Kling is not going to make the opening night roster, but I can see him later making an appearance, but not opening night. Nestorenko, Colangelo, Warren, Leno, and Hellison. Those are the 5 I could, if they have good training camp and preseasons, those are the 5 I can easily see probably cracking the opening night roster. Depending on trades and everything like that. So you want to do quick opening night team?
Sure.
Okay.
How you want to go first, or do you want to do your first line? I do my first line, and
we'll do that. So I'll do my first line, and I think this is the obvious one: Cutter Gauthier, Leo Carlson, and Alex Killorn. That's my first line.
So for the Kings, I think it's going to be Alex Laferriere, Anze Kopitar, and Adrian Kempe.
Okay. My second line, I'm going to keep this line because I do like it. Zegers, McTavish, and Terry. That'll be my second line.
My second line, Kevin Fiala, Quentin Byfield, and Warren Foegele.
My third line, I'm going to go with Fabry, Strome, and Vetrano.
And my third line's Tanner Jeannot, Philip Deneau. Oh, it's the law firm. Jeannot, Deneau, and Moore. Trevor Moore.
Deneau, and Moore.
Yes.
If you're in an accident, call Jeannot, Leno, and Giroux. Fourth line is tough. I'm gonna go with Lundestrom is gonna be. I would say Lundestrom, McGinn, and Leeson. Okay. And then I think my extra forward. I'm gonna just give you 2. I'll give you 2 extra forwards.
Okay.
Regenda and Nestorenko.
Okay. So my fourth line, I think, is going to be, and I'm not going to give it in an order because all 3 of these guys could play center or wing. It's going to be Trevor Lewis, Alex Turcotte, and Akil Thomas. My 2 extra forwards would be Kaliev and Fagimo.
Okay.
Now, what I'm also going to say is, I think on the first 3 lines, 2 guys are set. It's a matter of Akil Thomas could move up and be with Byfield, and Foegele could move down to be with Deneau. I just don't know that yet.
Yeah.
And even Turcotte could move up. They've talked about having Turcotte up on the number 1 line with Kopitar and Kempe. And, I mean, one is they want Kempe to score a little bit more. But we'll see. So But we can't do 2 forwards and 2 defenders. You only get 3 extra. I'm going to give you 2 extra defenders, and I don't know what decision the Kings are going to be once we get there. You
Okay.
want to do your defensive pairs then?
I'm just going to add 2 extra. It's just, I know they're not going to be able to have that many, but that's just what I'm going to go.
We
This
need
is
2
my
extra
opinion.
forwards or defenders?
I'm gonna do. Well, obviously, I already did 2 extra forwards. I'm gonna do 2 extra defenders. Just just having fun with it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with Fowler and Zellweger as the line 1.
Okay, so my line 1, you know what it's going to be. Mikey Anderson and Drew Doughty.
Yeah. Second line, I'm gonna go with Gudis and you know what? I'm gonna change my first line. I'm gonna go with Fowler and Gudis, top pair.
Okay. So your second line, because I already gave my first line of defense.
All right, so Fowler and Gudis. Second line, I'm gonna go with Dumoulin and Zellweger.
Okay. My second one will be, and this is where it could change with the third pair too. Just the right defenders would change, but I think it's going to start off Gavrikov and Jordan Spence on the second pair. That's what I think is going to happen.
And then my last pair, I'm gonna go with what did I say? My second one once again.
You said
I
it was
said Zellweger and Dumoulin.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm supposed to be the forgetful one. I'm the old guy.
I know. Well, I'll go with Lacombe and Leno. And then my 2 would be Warren and Hellison.
Okay. My third pair would be Edmondson and Clark with England and Burrows. I would be super surprised unless there's a trade made that. I mean, I have 1 extra player in my extras.
Okay.
Somebody's got to go.
Yeah.
I don't know who that's going to be. It could be a forward. It could be a defender. We're going to have one of a forward and a defensive extra, but one of the other 2 is going to have to go. Either waivers or go down to the AHL if they're not waiver exempt.
Okay. I have a question for you, and I literally just thought of this.
Okay.
Is there a player that has a decent cap on your team that you would like to trade away? Not Arthur, and it can't be Arthur Kaliev.
But he doesn't have a decent.
Yeah.
You're talking about getting rid of some cap money to get somebody else, right?
Just answer my question.
Who would I get rid of? Okay. You put me on the spot, and it's not like I dislike this player. I don't. But I'm not really sure he's worth the money we pay him.
Okay.
Could you give me a guess who I'm thinking of? I'll tell you if you're right.
I'm just trying to remember.
You got to realize that you got 24 players I gave you. Somebody.
Okay, I can't. I'm blanking right now.
Well, if it were me, and I had to get rid of a little bit of money to make my team work better, I'd get rid of Gavrikov.
Okay.
I mean,
All right. No. Now here's my next question.
yeah.
Would you do a trade where Cam Fowler, half retained, for Kaliev and Gavrikov? Fowler is a left shot defenseman.
I know.
And he can play on the right side if you need him to.
Well, see, my
half retained.
Well,
so he's I want to say he's making
like 6.5 or 6.25, I think.
Yeah, let's see. I'll pull it up right now.
So that way I would be gaining $3 million.
Yeah. Would you do that trade?
Oh, how old is Fowler?
Let's see. Player. Hold on.
Well, he doesn't fit.
He's 32. He has 2 years left at 6.5.
See, I was right on the money, wasn't I?
Yeah.
First thing I said. He is not a typical left-hand defender the Kings would get, because he's more of an offensive defenseman than a defensive defenseman. I could say I'm intrigued by it. I don't know if I would do it. It doesn't blow me away.
Okay.
But then again, I mean,
let's see.
Because I'll be honest with you, he to me, he's no different than Gavrikov. He's overpaid defenseman, the way I look at it. I think Gavrikov's a $3.5 million. He just isn't doing as much as I thought he would.
Yeah. Okay. It was worth a shot.
I know you'd get rid of Fowler, so I don't even have to ask you.
Okay, well, so the reason I was thinking, like, okay, one, you can get rid of out of a bad contract. You can get a play, but you take Fowler, but half retained, and then so it's like we're getting Kaliev, and it's like we're helping out each other in a way.
I don't know. I think we might be helping you more if Kaliev could be what he's expected.
But that's if.
Well, there's a lot of ifs and ands and buts, that's for sure. So that's a good one. Hey, yeah, I got something. We got all these Ducks and Kings fans. If you're listening, we want to know, would you make the trade? Instead of us deciding that, Cody proposed it. What would you guys do? Let us know if you're a Kings or a Ducks fan, and let us know. You can just say, yes, I'd make the trade, or no, I wouldn't. And if you want to give a reason why and we'll read it on the next podcast.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was an intriguing trade offer.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it made me think. I mean, it could be worth it. I mean, I think Fowler would probably be much better King than a Duck, because I think the King system would fit him better.
I think that is true. That's another, and I think Kaliev can probably flourish more with the Ducks than the Kings. And he would fit our timeline a little bit better too. That's what I was thinking, because the Ducks can't trade Fowler, even at half retained, because then they'll be under the cap.
Well, you know what could be a funny thing? If they couldn't re-sign Gavrikov, because he's on his last year. This is his last year.
Yeah.
Because he had a 2-year, and last year was the first of that 2 years. This is the second one. He'll be traded at the deadline. And if Fowler isn't gone already, you could actually maybe see that trade, because at least they'd get somebody for instead of nothing. I don't know if it would include Kaliev. It might include somebody else. But then again, I think a straight up trade would, with the retained, would work. That would be.
That's why I add the retain.
But that would be. Yeah, I know. That's why you want Kaliev, because you're retaining.
I
think it's much more attractive without Kaliev. But then again, if we want to get rid of him, we can.
Let's see. Do you guys have? Let's see. Okay, if you don't get rid of Kaliev, would you do that Gavrikov and a 2026 second round pick. I think I'm not going to ask for a first round because I don't even think I would. But you're getting rid of Gavrikov, and you're getting Fowler at half retained. So maybe a second or third round pick. I think it might be fair.
It might be. Then again, that I want to put that out to our listeners and hear what they have to say. Let's get you guys more interactive with us. We'd love to have you be more interactive with us. And are we just about done?
Unless you have anything else to add.
I do. I have a bad hockey joke. Are y'all ready for it?
No.
What do a bad hockey team and the Titanic have in common?
What does a bad hockey team? Oh, they both tank.
No.
Oh.
They both tank?
I don't know. Okay, what?
They both look good until they hit the ice. Bad hockey joke. I thought it was funny, a different way to end it.
That was definitely bad. Like bad, but in a funny way.
My next trivia question, we've actually played around a couple times, but we haven't really. I put a twist on it, so I'm really excited in a couple weeks when I get to ask you that one. So.
Okay, I have another quick question before we head off. So both of our captains now have 2 years left on their contracts.
Yep.
Say they both retire at the end of their contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Who's next in line to take the throne for you?
It would probably be two guys I could think of. Drew Doughty and Philip Deneau.
Well, Drew Doughty only has 1 year left after this. So he'd only be captain for a year. So he'd be what, 34, 35, 36? So he'll be 36 or 37 when his contract expires.
Yeah.
Philip Deneau, he's 31. So by the time he'll be what, let's just say 31, 32, 33. He'll be 34, 35 when his contract ends.
Oh, then again, if put it that way, I would probably say Quentin Byfield.
Okay.
And I'm sure you're going to say
McTavish.
Yeah.
If it's not McTavish, then Carlson.
Yeah, and
then we also found out why Zegras has the hairstyle he does. I don't know if you saw his hairstyle now.
I haven't seen it, no.
Let's just say it looks a lot like
Taylor Swift?
Oh, God, no. I know he's a Swiftie, but no. It literally looked like if you mixed Jaromir Jagr and Wayne Gretzky back in the day. But I guess he likes so this is what came out on Duckstream. He likes the flow in the back. He likes how the hair looks coming out on the back of the helmet. But he said it was so hot over the summer, so he shaved the sides and kept in the back. So that's why he got the mullet. It wasn't inspired by Jagr or Gretzky, even though that's pretty much what it looks like. But yeah, that was it. It was a hot summer, and yeah, that was it.
It was a really hot summer for me.
God, yeah. Yeah, you go boil an egg on top of that head.
It's got to have more than one use, right?
All right. So, all right. Anything else before we head out of here?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, I take it you're finally out of the dungeon.
I'm out of the dungeon. Mom's making the cheeseburger hamburger helper for dinner tonight.
Oh, man, that's a good one. Is that the one you ruined for us?
For a while, yeah. And it wasn't meant as an insult, but she took it as one.
You ruined it for us.
Well, we were what, maybe a year married, and it offended her.
You ruined
And
it
I
for us.
didn't know she made it from scratch. So if I had known that, I would have never said what I said.
Ruined it.
Honey, I'm sorry. Please make it again. I think you've forgiven me for that because you've made it here lately and I've asked for it. And in fact, it was her idea. She brought it up.
Yeah,
'Cause
we had sushi, so I think we're good for a while.
Well, they had meatball sandwiches. I had that for lunch.
Oh, that's all. Damn it.
Meatball sandwiches and now cheeseburger casserole.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
But all right.
You can be that if you want. It's okay.
Yeah. All right. Ready to get out of here?
Yep.
All right. Ducks and Kings fans, please don't forget to follow us on Twitter or X, Facebook, Instagram. That's where I'm mostly on is Instagram. So please give us a follow or talk to us or DM us on there. We're on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Amazon, Castro, YouTube. I think I already said YouTube. iHeartRadio. That's the one I was missing. Like I said, please feel free to message us if you have any questions or comments. Please give us a rating or review on Apple, or you can leave a review on Apple and a rating. And on Spotify, you can leave comments and you can leave us a rating. I'm actually double checking to see if we have any.
And then also you can email us at royallyquacked@gmail.com.
Yes. Let's see. I'm trying
you want
to
me
check.
to see it? Chances are that's the way I'm going to see it. I mean, I do go on Instagram every once in a while, but it's not my...
So we have no new reviews on Apple, but I did notice that we did have a few more ratings on Spotify. So guys, much appreciated on that. Thank you for the 5-star ratings. Let's see. I think we gained a couple more since last couple podcasts. So we really appreciate all the ratings and reviews. If you guys have any questions for us, any funny ones or good hockey ones, stuff
trivia.
that you
help us with trivia questions.
Yeah, if you're tired of hearing our weird questions, send us one and we'll use yours as the trivia question. So
yeah, it could be one for both of us because
or one for both of us. It could be food takes about Marvel, Star Wars, Ducks, Kings, hockey, any of the fun stuff. That's the one thing I do like about Late Arrivals is their food takes are very interesting.
Yeah. Yes, they are.
So, all right, guys,
and they're much better at that puck thing.
Puckdoku.
Oh gosh, they're really good at that.
Yeah, they are.
We're not going to challenge you guys because you crush us.
Yeah. Well, they also have they have an extra person helping, so that helps. If we had Adam on, we probably could have knocked it out pretty quick.
Yeah, I suck at that.
You just keep practicing it. They have a new one every day, so
there you go.
All right, guys, we really appreciate everything, and we will see you next week.
Go Kings, go!
All right, let's go Ducks.
A father and son, a bond so strong, talking hockey all day long. Royally Quack, their podcast show, sharing stories, highs and lows. From the Kings to the Ducks they go. Shouting go Kings, go! Quack, quack, they cheer. A father and son, their passion sincere on the ice. Their love appears through the highs and lows in the years. The legends of Gretzky, Solana's grace, passing on history in every case. Father teaching son, a legacy shared, a royally quack their stories aired. Face off in life, together they stand. Shouting go Kings, go! Quack, quack, they cheer. A father and son, their passion sincere on the ice. Their love appears through the highs and lows and the years. Let go! The legends of Gretzky, Solana's grace, passing on history in every case. Father teaching son, a legacy shared, on royally quack their stories aired. Face off in life, together they stand. and go Ducks go, go Kings go. A father and son watching the show. Through wins and losses their spirits grow. On Royally Quack they steal the show.